38 years old, I had a business and I was making quite a bit of money, but I was also getting very frustrated. I wasn't painting enough, so I thought, what can I do? I'm going to get a big studio, I'm going to renovate it, and it kind of occurred to me that maybe I should get somebody in like David Bolduc and really learn the business of art. I knew a lot about painting, I knew a lot about marketing, but I really wanted to see what a professional does who has sold paintings from the time he's 18 and he's now 55, and he's managed to make a living every year as an abstract painter in Canada, which is virtually unheard of. I've always known that painting was going to provide all the thrills that I really need in my life. Every time I have a brush in my hand, I have absolutely no problems.
I'm firmly convinced that time, obviously, is just purely an invention of man, so that we form society, so there is some form of logic, but time doesn't exist, and I feel that I constantly transcend time in my work. Why the penis? Well, all through art, I guess, that men has always painted their penises. If you go back to Indian art, a lot of Indian miniatures, and it shows about 9,000 variations of people copulating. So, penis, because I'm a male and have a large ego, and also, like most art, I think is ego-driven, but it's also very primal. I think that if you are very honest and open about the work you do, obviously, sex and birth and all that is going to come into it. Small works, which you've been panning over here, are my sketchbook, basically. Whether my daily sketchbook, I try to do at least one a day. I generally can do 6 or 7 and up to maybe 12 a day. But they're what I'm thinking. And in my language, I can see in specific works when I've been thinking about a certain person, and I'll even give you an example if you want. Recently, I've been thinking about my ex-wife because her 50th birthday is coming up. And so on the 26th of September, she'll be 50, and one of these pieces will be about her. But in this piece, and in this piece, I can see that I was thinking about her already, about what I'm going to do.
Art and cooking, cooking and art, they're in a lot of ways much the same thing. Basically, if you do it at a fairly high level. A lot of focus involved in both, obviously. Manual dexterity helps in both. And good taste helps in both. He said to me, he says, you know, I realize I've never ever bought anything from you. He's always been given things. It's gifts.
So how's it going, Brock?
Good.
Yeah?
It's going really well.
I love money.
It's great.
That's my new mandate.
Yeah.
Money. But this piece started out in mind with anger, and what I did was I took ink and darkened in the background more to bring this, what I see as a portrait of a person that's quite angry and dealing with anger. And I went back to a time a couple years ago that a woman's nipple sort of started all this type of situation that was emotional involvement on my part, and a lot of it was kind of behind the scenes anger, but it certainly for some reason triggered tremendous anger in both of us, and I feel I've really depicted that in this picture. I play with the subconscious, and I put information in there that I want to come out in the painting. So it's a constant process of feeding your subconscious and your psyche to have things come back out in the work. But I think it's taken me until now. I was, I guess I was 38. I was approaching 40. So, and I'm now 51. It's basically taking me this long to really completely figure out the art business. But I think a major part of that is that now I know that I've got the goods. Now I'm confident, and now I've got enough work to show the world and sell, and hopefully sell it and continue on. make enough money to buy more stretchers, buy more paint, go to the copy store more, whatever.
I'm a kid that came up through Dick Tracy, and I always said I wanted one of those watches, and now you can buy one of those watches. And I said, yeah, as an artist now, and coming to computers, what, 25 years later after everybody else, I don't know how the hell I lived without them. I can work every minute of the day now on art. I've either got my phone in my hand creating something, the tablet, or I'm drawing, and I usually watch TV, do ink drawings, and make variations of my work on my phone or on my tablet all at the same time. And actually, you know when I first came up with that idea? I was at my show, The Bank Job, with Ron Kingswood and Francis Caprani in 2008, and I had my BlackBerry in my pocket, and I said, next opening we do, I've got to figure out how, or get the right people. And at that point, I didn't know enough about phones and stuff. How could this whole evening event be shown to people all over the world on their smartphones?
Actually, we're gonna probably, and on photo by Ian McEachern, we're probably gonna have to take a trip down to see Bonham.
Oh yeah,
Like
you
I've
should.
known Bonham
You should.
since I.
Yeah.
A lot of the artists, because my brother went to Fanshawe, I've known since I was
Since
like
you were-
17, 18 years old.
Uh-huh.
Bonham and Redinger and Zelnak
Yeah. Yeah.
and Mick and you know, so
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, but you know that Don had an accident a few years ago. He was in a fairly severe car accident.
I no,
No.
I wasn't sure about
And
no, I didn't.
he's been up to Macintosh. There was something happening there a few years ago after his accident with him and
Uh-huh.
always
Oh, absolutely.
70s, early
Absolutely.
70s. So, and like I said, we've been documenting Walter and we'll have to get out to see Ed. I told Ed.
These are higher off, so, and it was still, you know,
Oh, gorgeous.
and double ovens and.
Yeah.
I think the guy was a lawyer, might have been a judge, I've forgotten now, that had, I was not previous to us, but previous to that. I thought, I think I could finish those two now, and so I did. And after I finished them, I thought, well, you know, I think I could do some more like that. And so I started, and I did another, 7 or 8 at least, called My Garden. And this one behind is, in the early days, it was My Garden number 1, My Garden number 2, My Garden number 3. The more recent ones, which started again in 1999, and they were, the two that I was telling you about were dated 1965-1999. And then in 1999 and 2000, the whole series of My Gardens started, and they all had names. I had one was My Garden in the Rain. This particular one I'm quite fond of, and it's called My Garden in 1936. And I am over here in the corner. You can just barely see me. And my grandmother and grandfather are on the other side. Photograph of my grandmother and grandfather, and they were photographed, I'm pretty sure, in that photograph in Florida.
Okay, yes.
Well, I've talked a lot about what to me were senior Londoners, but I haven't said too much about my what would you say, my confreres. I was a little bit older. I was a couple of years older than Greg Colonel, but a couple of years younger than Jack Shavers. And Greg and Jack were the most important to me in London, just because of the era, and I suppose our ages matched. And of course, with Jack, setting up Carfax was a very important thing. With Greg, I had a lot of interesting conversations in his studio and that sort of thing, and I gave him a show at the Macintosh, which must have been certainly at a major gallery in London. It was his first show. Apparently he showed with the library in one of the branch plants a little earlier. I'm not absolutely sure what the date was, but this show was entitled Mr. Curnow and Mrs. Cumming. And Mrs. Cumming was the wife of a United Church minister. Actually, I think that Reverend Cumming was Greg's former minister. And as much as Greg was a complete character, she was even more so.
I think one of the great things about Walter is his work is out there so much as public art, and so I knew of him in a couple of the cities that I lived in. I was aware of his work, and it's work that you can't ignore. And so coming to London, I guess about 12 years ago now, I was really looking forward to meeting him and seeing who the guy behind the work was. And it was a real eye-opener. Anybody who has never visited Walter's studio should visit Walter's studio if they get the opportunity. It's an extraordinary place, and it's a surprising place in a whole number of ways. I mean, it's genuinely a workshop. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a studio that looks like it's in use more than Walter's studio, and it's in a way too, I think, almost the way you would imagine the inside of his head, the inside of his brain. I mean, there's so much going on in that space, and so many different things going on in that space.
Yes, this is Walter at the dials here. I gonna sing a little blues for you.
Stages of a composition. I often use a mock-up that's almost life scale, and I'm able to conceive of the shapes and forms and the subject matter, and then I'm really ready to finish the finished version. Sometimes, though, the problem is that the early mock-up, where things aren't really tied down 100%, visually they can look as exciting or more exciting when it's finished. So you got to be careful that you don't let the secret out of the bag too early, and it not be around at the final version, the final state. Diagnosed of having Parkinson's disease about 17 years back. I've been through it that long already, so I'm one of the senior ones. Recently, I've been trying a new experiment. I'm trying now to draw once a day for the sake of drawing, not just to exhibit, to get it right.
How's that doing?
Just started. I got one drawing I drew on my desk. My desk was very boring, and I began to dislike it. And we haven't got enough space around here apparently, because I was put in the living room end of our living room. It's not that I'm going to expire or leave, but I know I'm reminded by my very own condition of what is happening. And the reverse has happened with my work. It has not disappeared. I have more art in me, and it comes to mind. I'm holding off about 7 projects right now. So I'm hoping it can have a good run here, and I'm gonna make the work, and I think for starters they'll find a place for exhibition because I've got the raw edge again.
Dream sequence. The dream life of Teresa Harris, born 1839, Eldon House, London.
You wonder what prepared me. You know I am a gatherer, and gatherers often wander far from home, especially if they are last, the youngest of 12. All these brothers and sisters doubled up behind me.
Always older.
No wonder I had to run all the way around the world to escape their constraint.
We were forever first up the hill and fastest to hide away. We made the rules.
I was eternally seeking them out across creaking floorboards. Sure giveaways. Those secret places were mine, ones they'd never fit. I could squirm under oak bureaus, sneak behind the wardrobe, tuck between draped bronze lion claws. Growing up in such an upright house, I could never catch on.
To proper routine, instilled by successions of nannies.
I dreamed of escaping provincial mores, out from under my mother's petticoats, away
from brothers' taunts. Sisters, impossible glamour, the corset's apparel.
I'd never grow into, whatever my age. I too would be married.
Into the ritual of household management, the daily round of what to wear, what to eat, and who is up to snuff. When the company Penn, when the company part from the heart, when the company part from the heart, when the company part company from the hearth, when the company part company from the hearth, the art does not stop. Hello, 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 hover, hover, over, she is in over her head. An only child, a lonely child, only a child. An only child, a lonely child, only a child. Now, at the turning of the year, after nadir of deepest darkness, the small moon of long night turns to beam over the spruce above the frozen grave. Pulled on the taut line of longing that holds us to them. Pale sun on snow lights a shaft of reeling possibility ice crystals split in the glint and dull again at instant cloud cover. The thermometer hovers at 0, that zone where elements merge, confused, uncertain, in between. Beyond outer reaches of thought, the snow is luminous.
He was very large, and his coat shot off sparks in the dark. His eyes were lit coals. He had sharp white teeth. He was prowling. He was growling. He smelled musty. The sudden switch of the light evaporated him. I could just catch his tail glimmer away up into the fixture. He would curl behind the light, cunning, until the light was turned off. Then
Someone was finally here at 10 o'clock.
He thinks he's the drummer, he can't tell time.
Bernie Koenig on drums, Eric Stach. Set 2.
Mature consideration, which was recorded. This song, however, was never recorded. This is selection number 2 by Hugh McIntyre, called Hurtin' Song. One of the reasons that Hugh exhibited certain hostilities towards certain lyricists was that the lyricist never actually performed any of these songs, you see. But we're going to give the lie to that statement this evening because we're going to do Hurtin' Song, and there's another one too. There's quite a pile of them. I'm astounded at the number of songs I never did. The restraint of that man was amazing.
That's a great album title, The Songs We Never Recorded.
The songs we never sang. What we never did. Hurtin' Song by, I didn't think they would work. Hurtin' Song by Hugh. The pain, again, evisceration, decapitation, penetration, defenestration, castration, crucifixion, immolation, depression, asphyxiation, tintinnabulation, headache,
I've washed it down 3 times. And I've seen the men in there being horrified as the barrels of beer were going out to the sea. But here I've got some Messerschmitts coming across and anti-aircraft flak here. And that's this one, which these 2 belong to my son. This one is of a matchbox factory on the front, which was bombed. Of course, it went in with marvellous smoke. And there we've got the German Heikels and Messerschmitts and the flak round. We're all the way in the army fighting. So I was trained by people that had been trained by the pre-officers. How to draw, but that's good training, but wasn't my cup of tea, but that's what it was about. So I was determined when I started teaching, and I learned about art history myself, by looking. I was determined when I taught, I made darn sure the students at least knew what was going on in their generation. That they knew about the bar, they knew about the steel, they knew about Mondrian, they knew about Dadaism. As another one. So in many ways, I used to teach art history backwards. But then you cover it with and it looks great. Because also in my art, it's also an art of destruction as well as construction. In many ways, I destroy things in order to recreate things, because the previous marks added a new one. So this is a time when I was playing with the drawings which came out. The large painting of this one is in Hamilton Art Gallery, and these are some more drawings for it. I like this one when I was using torn paper to represent land or masses, and then putting collage on the top, and then putting a pencil line. It's lovely to put a pencil line. It's also nerve-wracking to put a pencil line on, to get it in the right place. And sometimes you want to leave. Am I going too long? Sorry. This one is it's a repeat of what I did. This is part of the coast in Brittany I used to go to a lot. Not far from the Karnak there on Falling Stones. I'm going like from Stonehenge to Karnak. And I love the landscape there. And in fact, on all these, also it's round there, all these crosses. It's round there where Gauguin painted the Yellow Christ, because he was influenced by the Celtic mythology in his painting, and then after digesting that, obviously he went to Tahiti to live primitive and same thing. But no, so all you see in that, I've been doing it. It's my cafe sheet. I've been doing it. There's another version there, where you've got the bottom of that one. But the idea. Oh, this is my next. This is my next landscapes. I found there's some all drawers, you see, and I think I know exactly what I'm going to do with them. Good. Because it's all there. But there's the next show.
There's done already.
Of course it's done already. So that was done already. That was done already. That was done already.
Oh yeah.
That was already.
Sailboat.
Yeah, well, that was done. You see, you've got in the sky, and you've got the reflection. Mm-hmm. It's how you like. It's the same mind that did that operates on this. Yeah. Okay. And that's open debate. That's done. That bottom one, that top one. That just a little bit on the bottom is nice, isn't it?
Desert scene.
Yeah. And all I got to do is maybe get some more sandpaper and maybe crispen this up and crispen it up the other side. But it's. I think it's. That one. That's a nice one. It's already done. That one, looks like.
You really think he's into tilting? I think he'd start rolling his eyes, right?
No, he wouldn't. But
he can't see all that.
No. But what I'm doing is I haven't showed Hamilton. The one have this one and another 2 I've got like that. I've found things, and then I'm going to do some landscapes this way. You see, and I'm going to call it landscape and worldscape, indicating the 2 different.
Is that a McMaster or?
Yeah, McMaster. But because the when you say a landscape, it indicates maybe 25, 35 miles at the most. Where when you say worldscape, you're talking about this, which is on the curvature of the earth or what it might be. So I thought I'd call it a bit of both.
You got the continents.
Yeah, well, that when I did that one, I didn't realise that was Toronto. I mean, there's, you know, you can put the what they call a tower there.
Yeah,
And
tower.
it's where the water comes in. But
Was that was in the short?
No, that's never been seen in London.
Oh, so I see, that's what you're.
But Ehor compared it, because he said, this is my equivalent of the Duchamp, because he said Duchamp takes a pissoir and says it's sculpture. I'll take a bit of old Danish sheet and call it landscape.
So we're all moving counterclockwise. It's still aware that the person across the street is coming.
Thank you.
Dennis Siren and Jeff Johnson and MJ Izzer. Bravo.